Thank you, Program Director, Commissioner Masuku, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. In the interest of time, let me not repeat acknowledgements of our distinguished guests as outlined by Dr. Masuku. But on behalf of the Commission, let me add my voice of welcome to all of you to the launch of the 2021 municipal elections mobilization campaign. The Commission is extremely grateful for your attendance, both physically and those of you who have joined us via the virtual channels and live television broadcasts. Honored guests, the municipal elections 2021 are taking place in the most unprecedented and abnormal circumstances in our history. As we speak, our country is facing the onslaught of a third wave of the deadly COVID-19 pandemic. Over the past 18 months, this pandemic has devastated the world and our country, infecting over 170 million people globally and more than 1.7 million South Africans to date. The death toll globally is approaching 4 million lives lost, and this includes 57,000 of our own countrymen and women. In addition to the loss of life, the illness, the pandemic has ravaged our economy, led to the loss of millions of jobs, and thrown our social norms, customs, traditions, and religious as well as cultural practices into disarray. Notwithstanding this, we cannot allow the pandemic to change our values, our principles, our beliefs, and our resolve to overcome this threat and protect our people and our way of life. At the heart of this resolve stands our Constitution as a beacon of our continuing journey, in the words of the preamble to the Constitution, to heal the divisions of the past and establish a society based on democratic values, social justice, and fundamental human rights. Of quote. Since the Constitution was adopted 25 years ago, it has never been more important and more timely to remind ourselves what we as a country continue to stand for and to strive for. Speaking in Parliament on the 8th of May, 1996, on the adoption of the new Constitution, the then President Nelson Mandela said, open quote, this Constitution is our humble contribution to democracy and the culture of human rights worldwide. And it is our pledge to humanity that nothing will steer us from this cause. And close quote. Compatriots, let us repeat in action those words. Nothing must steer us from our constitutional democracy. And the Constitution provides two fundamental guidelines on elections. Firstly, it requires that elections must be free and fair. Secondly, it sets a maximum term of office of 5 years for legislatures and municipal council and allows 90 days from the expiry of the term to conduct elections. What our Constitution does not do is to define what constitutes free and fair elections. And over the past 27 years, we have set a strong precedence and a high standards against which we judge our success of elections. And the dilemma facing the Commission and all of us today is whether these same standards of freeness and fairness apply without amendment under such abnormal and challenging conditions. While remaining true to the imperatives of our Constitution, the Commission cannot be oblivious to the threat posed by the pandemic to our people, to our economy, and to our democracy. So preparing for our country's 5th municipal elections under such uncertain and unpredictable conditions has therefore presented the Commission with one of the most difficult balancing acts in our history. The Commission is literally walking a tightrope. On one side is the tyranny of elections becoming a super spreader event, leading to further loss of human life. On the other side is the tyranny of the failure to adhere to the dictates of our Constitution, leading to democratic backsliding and setting an undesirable precedent for the future. And we dare not fall to either side. All life is precious, and we cannot act recklessly or irresponsibly. Yet equally, we cannot risk undermining the Constitution and the democratic gains of the past 27 years. Given the enormous ramification of either postponing or proceeding with elections, the Commission recently appointed the former Deputy Chief Justice, Glen Mashinini, to conduct an independent review of what constitutes free and fair elections under such abnormal circumstances. And such a process is provided for under Section 14(4) of the Electoral Commission Act. And this process may also identify additional mitigation measures to further fortify the election against the impact of the pandemic. And this will help guide the Commission and all of us in better understanding the requirements for free and fair elections, not only now, but for the future. Distinguished guests, based on the Constitution, the law, and the operational readiness for the elections, and thorough assessment of the current pandemic conditions, the Commission is of the view that we are technically ready to deliver the elections. Therefore, we believe the 2021 municipal elections should proceed as things currently stand. And this assessment was conducted in consultation with health and disaster management authorities as well as various subject matter experts. And the Commission has also drawn extensively on the experiences of more than 100 countries and territories around the world, which have successfully held elections under COVID-19 conditions. And the Commission wishes to assure the nation that the effective mitigation measures are in place to ensure the elections are conducted safely. And these protocols have been developed and tested successfully in over 150 by-elections over the past 7 months. And the Commission therefore appeals to all stakeholders to rally behind the 2021 municipal elections to ensure they are free, fair, and safe. Distinguished guests, this month we commemorate the 45th anniversary of the day young South Africans took to the streets of Soweto, later spreading to every township and rural neighborhood to protest against Bantu education. Along with many other brave actions and sacrifices, this defiance of a repressive regime eventually led to our country attaining our first democratic elections and adoption of our Constitution. Sadly, many became martyred, paying the ultimate sacrifice of their lives to deliver democracy from the tyranny of apartheid. We owe these brave freedom fighters the continued defense of our hard-won democracy. The COVID-19 pandemic has taken so much from all of us. It has taken the lives of family members, friends, and colleagues. It has taken jobs, livelihoods, and businesses. And it has taken many of the freedoms we used to take for granted. But we dare not let it take away our hard-won democracy and the voice of the people. Elections are not about Electoral Commission, not about political parties, not about the independent candidates. Elections are about ordinary citizens coming together to determine the future of our cities, our towns, our communities, and our neighborhoods in an expression of the will of the people. Remember Hastings Ndlovu, Hector Peterson, and the tens of thousands of other young people who gave their lives for the freedom, and left us a legacy of a world-class constitution whose founding provisions are, open quote, one sovereign state founded on the values of human dignity, the achievement of equality, and the advancement of human rights, non-racialism and non-sexism, the supremacy of the Constitution and the rule of law, and the universal suffrage and national common voters' roll, regular elections, and the multi-party system of democratic government to ensure accountability, responsiveness, and openness, close quote. Fellow compatriots, the epoch we are in call on all of us to stand together in our resolve to march forward with our constitutional democratic order. Our duty under the onslaught of this invisible enemy, the coronavirus, is to avoid erratic decisions, to stabilize the country by us ensuring the continuity of our hard-won electoral dispensation. Our collective leadership must ensure certainty and overcome the obstacles we face by adapting our way of doing electoral business and by being innovative as never before. Our appeal to the current generation of freedom-loving South Africans is to use the municipal elections to leave an indelible footprint for the posterity. A legacy of continuing an unbroken record of adhering to the dictates of our Constitution and staying the course on our democratic journey. A journey that the youth of our country from one generation to the next sacrificed so much for. A journey that Anton Mzwake Lembede fought for. A journey that Dikgang Moseneke went to dungeons of apartheid prisons for. A journey that Glen Mashinini perished in exile for. A journey that Hector Peterson paid the ultimate price on the cold winter streets of Soweto for. Our responsibility today is equally critical, but vastly easier than their sacrifices. All we need to do is we must register to vote and ensure our registration particulars are up to date. We must participate actively in the coming elections, and we must at all times be safe and consider the safety of others. Together, let us forge forward our democratic journey. I thank you.